Hey everyone, today is Monday, September 13th. The time right now is 1:19 p.m. and the temperature is around 22 degrees Celsius. And I'm here in Midtown Toronto. And this, I believe, is the Toronto Public Library Northern District branch. And there's a look to the east towards Yonge Street. And for this one, I'll be hopping on my move-in electric bike here. And I'll be taking it for a bit of an adventure. I'll be heading down the not-so-good Eglinton Avenue East, and I'll check out how the LRT development is going on along there, and pass through the Golden Mile into Scarborough, and I'll check out the new bus priority lanes. All right, let me get my main camera fired up here. Fire up the e-bike. So I'm just going to head over to Duplex Avenue, which is just in front of me, and I'll take that down to Eglinton. And then I'll ride east along Eglinton, which I think will be about 16 kilometers or so. Just waiting for a break in traffic. And in the past, this has been voted the worst road in the province of Ontario, and it's consistently one of the worst roads in the city. And it's been a bit of a construction disaster for as long as I can remember. And we've caught another red light. Another red light. This would be the first red light. Even though it's well into the afternoon, it still feels a bit early for me. And I am using the new wide-angle attachment I have on my DJI Pocket 2. And last year I went for a ride along Eglinton East on my single speed. And it became rather apparent why not so many people take their bikes along that street. So I'll be turning left here. I am just pedaling right now. And I'm really curious to check out these new RapidTO Bus Priority lanes, which fortunately can also be shared with bicycles. This will be my first time ever riding in them. It's not a very good three-point turn that person's making. So this is Eglinton Avenue West, but once I cross Yonge Street, I'll be on Eglinton Avenue East. And here's the intersection of Yonge and Eglinton. So riding on Eglinton East always feels a bit like you're starring in Mad Max. And once I get past Leaside, it's very unlikely I'll see another cyclist. And one of the reasons for the extremely poor road conditions would be the construction of the LRT line that's going in. It's a 25-stop, half underground, half above ground LRT. Although Most of the underground stations are to the west. I can turn my speed up a bit here. There we go. I am really appreciating the suspension and fat tires on this bike already. So coming up here at Eglinton and Mount Pleasant will be the future home of the Mount Pleasant LRT stop. There's going to be some construction slowdowns in traffic, at least up to Bayview. So last year when I did this ride, on my single speed, those bus priority lanes weren't yet installed. And that took me about 57 minutes, I think, in total. I imagine it will be a bit quicker on this thing. All right, I'm gonna make this light here. And apparently they've started testing the LRT trains, or trams I guess you could call them, on the eastern part of the LRT line, so maybe we'll luck out and get to see a few of those in action. And I think this bus lane that I'm heading to check out was the first one installed. It went in last year as part of the RapidTO program. We're also planning on installing similar bus lanes, I think, on Lawrence and Steeles, as well as Jane and Dufferin. It's always a bit hairy between here and Bayview, which is the next major intersection just up ahead. The smart thing to do if you're heading this way would be to take Broadway, which is a few blocks to the north of here, but runs parallel until it ends at Serena Gundy Park, and then you could head down to Eglinton. But I wanted to show off just how bad going for a ride along Eglinton is. I covered Eglinton West, or at least part of it, in my last e-bike video. And look at this. I'm just going to creep forward here. I think I can squeeze in front of this bus. There's a red light here, so we have to wait. Snowplows, please raise your blades. That'll be fun, operating a snowplow on this stretch. And apparently this LRT might be finished at some point next year, but I certainly doubt that. Looks like there might be a traffic cop manning this intersection. And on the right there is the future home of another LRT station. They all kind of have that similar look. And that used to be a rather neat McDonald's that got expropriated and torn down to make way for that new station. It's really amazing just how many buildings they expropriated to make these LRT stations. I've mentioned this before, but when I lived in Seoul, they opened up entire subway lines with very little disruption on the street or at street level in terms of the buildings in place. Often you just see a new exit pop out of the sidewalk and everything had been built out underneath it. Not sure why so many buildings need to be demolished to make way for these LRT stops. And this is the Least Side neighborhood. There's a lot of kids out at the school right there. That's something we didn't see last year. I'm riding on the throttle now at full speed. And we should start to see the LRT appear at surface level pretty soon. And I think it'll only be going to Kennedy Station. So once again, the former city of Scarborough gets the shaft in terms of transit and bicycle infrastructure. There was a bike lane put in and then removed on Brimley before it even had a chance to get going. It wasn't really connected to anything. When it comes to cycling infrastructure, the city of Toronto really kind of has its head right up its own ass. Here's another LRT stop. And this is Laird Drive. Hopefully if my camera stops recording for some reason, I'll hear the beep. I might be pushing the limits of the battery. I started at around 85%. I do have a second camera on me if this one does die, as well as a battery pack. I don't think I've seen another cyclist yet. And here's where the LRT emerges. Oh, we got lucky. There's some LRT trams. There's a few of them daisy chained together. Let's jump in this shoulder thing here. Oh, some broken glass. It's not too good for the old wheels. And what's the name of this stop? Does it say Symington Park? And I think after this will be the Science Center stop. So it comes above ground for one stop and then it dips below ground again, I believe. Oh, Sunnybrook Park. I knew that. So the next major street should be Don Mills. And just to the right of there will be the Flemington Park neighborhood. Which lane are you in? I should have worn my sunglasses for this. I'm getting a bit of dust and dirt flicked up into my face. There's Flemington Park on the right. It looks like we have a outage of these traffic lights. There's the big Real Canadian Superstore on the left there. And once I get to Victoria Park, I'll be entering the borough of Scarborough. I don't know why I said it like that. Scarborough. And up there on the left is the Aga Khan Museum. That same truck, again, straddling two lanes. Not sure if this is a future planned bike lane here. It's probably just a shoulder. As far as cycling infrastructure goes, there isn't a whole lot on the main roads, at least. You can take some of the trails east to west across this part, but I don't think Eglinton or Lawrence or St. Clair, any of these streets have them. And Lawrence and St. Clair aren't even continuous. Although they must be done with the track work along this stretch of Eglinton, as they have resurfaced it and made it rather pleasant. Oh, there's a tram being tested. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. That's a neat sight. Ooh, that was a monster bump I just hit at a good speed. Of my 3 bikes, I certainly picked the right one to take out for this one. My other e-bike would have rattled itself apart by now. And here comes the hill climb, and I think not too far after this will be Victoria Park, if I'm not mistaken, and that'll be the Golden Mile area in Scarborough. And I did a walk along there last year. I thought I did a pretty good job covering it, although a few people pointed out that I missed the corrections facility. I'm gonna have to go back and re-watch that bike ride I did along Eglinton last year, just to see how much has changed. Whoa! What the hell? That Jeep just turned right from the far left lane, right across me. Hopefully this is a future bike lane I'm in. What street is this? I can't see any signs at all. Good job, City, on that one. That car dealership next to me is called Golden Mile. There's the big communications tower that I often think of when I think of the Golden Mile. This area was home to some large munitions factories supporting the war effort. And it was chosen as it wasn't as it wasn't so close to the city that if there was an accident that Toronto would have been severely damaged or destroyed in the process. Although it's certainly been built out quite a bit since then. I've always found it kind of a bleak and desolate place. There's not a lot of trees on the streets. It's not pedestrian or cyclist friendly. Just full of what the Not Just Bikes channel would refer to as these stroads. Roads that are neither streets or roads. And they somehow manage to be the worst of both worlds. There's an old shopping mall on the right. I think that's where Queen Elizabeth visited once upon a time. Or it might have been the Golden Mall or Golden Mile Plaza on the left. I didn't brush up on my facts in this area. I was just looking for something to do today. Now here's where you might expect a suburbanite to take their bike up onto the sidewalk there. But that is forbidden in the city of Toronto if you're over 14. There is the O'Connor stop, just on the left. There's Eglinton Square Mall on the right. That No Frills on the left, I believe, was built as a superstore. I sure hope they put in some damn trees in this area when the LRT is done. Apparently, there's some greenery on the tracks just up ahead. I'm curious to see if that's installed. If this ends up taking me longer than my last ride, it would be due to the traffic. I took the last one in the middle of the pandemic. Traffic was quite light. It was just the treacherous road conditions I was dealing with. I didn't really think we'd be all held up at this hour on a Monday afternoon, but here we are. I don't really have much room to squeak by. This buildup of traffic here. I can't see the street name here yet either, although I think it's Pharmacy, and I think that's Pharmacy Station on the left. I think that corrections facility I missed the last time I was through here is just up here on the right. And there is Eglinton Town Center on the right, with a large Cineplex Odeon theater anchoring that rather large suburban strip mall. Maybe when I get to this bus/bicycle priority lane coming up, we'll actually see another cyclist out here. And we're at Warden Avenue, and that is the Golden Mile stop just there on the left. And I think the corrections facility I talked about is actually just up here on the right. And I think the Golden Mile formally ends at Birchmount, which might be the next road coming up. And that bus priority lane starts, I think, at Brimley. And it goes for about 10 kilometers to Kingston Road and then up to the University of Toronto's Scarborough campus. Hey, there's another cyclist, but that doesn't count. He's on the sidewalk. You might be thinking I have a death wish for being on the road. It looks like they're testing out the transit signals. Here on the left is Birchmount Station. And look how shit-tastic these roads are. And to think I get to turn around and come right back. I remember one of these plazas up here on the right looked particularly decrepit. It was half vacant and everything was boarded up. Maybe I can twist to the right. Yeah, that place is definitely going to be finding the wrecking ball coming its way pretty soon. And this is Canny Road, so here is where Kennedy Station is. That's on line 2, the last stop, I think, of line 2, and the first stop of the soon-to-be defunct line 3. And this would be where I ended my walk along the Golden Mile last time. And could it be? No, this is not the start of the bus priority lane. Well, there's the new Kennedy LRT entrance being built just there on the right. Since those cycling lanes are coming up, I'm going to ease off the throttle and reduce my speed a bit just to kind of get more of a cycling experience on these lanes. So what I'm in now is actually a high occupancy lane where you see those diamond markings. How not to turn out into traffic. Brought to you by Janananen. Is that what that license plate said? So here's a situation that'll be tricky for cyclists when you have a bus kind of pulling over to the right. Do you go around it? Do you wait behind it? So at some point, this high occupancy lane will turn into the RapidTO Bus Priority. Here's Brimley, so it should be right after this. So this should be pretty neat. It'll be a red painted lane. I have a real bus to contend with. So Brimley used to have a cycling lane until the city stupidly removed it. Bicycle and bus, look at that. I'm gonna fling in front of this bus here. These drivers are probably not too used to seeing cyclists on these. And I am off the throttle and just pedaling now. I will say it's not the smoothest of surfaces they have over here. I don't think I'd be having a great time in these lanes on my single speed. So I've slowed down from going about 32 kilometers per hour to 24 right now. Cowan Road. And you can see where vehicles need to turn right. A dotted hash line appears and the red paint goes away, giving motorists an opportunity to get over into the turning lane. I don't think I'm far from the end of Eglinton Avenue. It ends right at Kingston Road. How am I doing for recording time? 40 minutes. Debating ending the video at Kingston or maybe turning around and coming back the other way to see what these lanes are like in the reverse direction. According to my battery gauge, I have 3/4 of a tank of battery left. Here's the Eglinton Go Station. So this bus priority lane turns north up Kingston Road, and it follows that pretty much up to the University of Toronto Scarborough campus. And like I mentioned, they're planning on putting these in, I think, before 2024 on Dufferin and Jane, Lawrence and Steeles. I'd be curious to hear what city planners and those that are into cycling infrastructure think of this versus having a dedicated bike lane, or even better, a protected dedicated bike lane. And here's a Walmart. And this is Mason Road. This bus pass. So I've encountered a few different buses, but sadly no, they're cyclists. Although the success of this area is also kind of dependent on what else this connects to from a cycling point of view. Scarborough's a bit of a black hole in that regard. And I think it was just up here, a pedestrian blindly walked out into traffic and almost got smoked by a car. Then he stepped back onto the sidewalk, let the car pass, and then stepped out right in front of me. That was a funny moment. A little bit of Darwinism at play. And this is Markham Road, so I am knee-deep in the Scarborough. I think last time I finished up at a park called Buffoon.
How much is this for?
This bike?
Yeah.
$15.99.
Okay, that's actually cool.
Yeah, I put a video on YouTube of it, just moving. You can look it up. I think it's $16.99 and there's a $100 discount currently on the website. I'm not entirely sure. You do hear a little bit of creaking sounds when I move off the line, and I think there's a fix for that. It was right here where that dummy walked into traffic. All right, I'm just gonna crank my speed up here. And our bus and cycling lane has disappeared. I might as well go all the way to Kingston Road. Then I can say I covered all of Eglinton Avenue East. And here we are. I'm just gonna end this here. And there's a look at the new beast. I hope you enjoyed this ride along Eglinton Avenue East. And that there is Kingston Road, and you can see they have one of those bus priority lanes on the far side. And let me know if you enjoyed this ride or not in the comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there are links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership in the description. And I also have an Instagram account. All right, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.